Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, strong style, cinephile, and DC Comics, DC Movies, Warner has now found their Kevin Feige. Let us geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, it was reported a few days ago now that James Gunn and Peter Safran are basically coming aboard to run DC Comics, the DCEU, going forward, to plan, to strategize from a creative standpoint, from a marketing standpoint. Safran is going to be staying towards like the bean counter side of things, I believe, and then James Gunn is going to be the creative mind that's going to be stitching all these crafting the vision going forth for the DCEU, basically Kevin Feige for DC. Now, we know that when David Zaslav came on before he started doing dumb shit within cutting movies and cutting shows and stupid stuff they're doing with HBO Max and Discovery, whatever, he said that he wanted to do this, that he wanted to have basically a more collective vision, like a 10-year plan, a 10-year plot plan for DC Comics, just a unified scope and understanding of this is where we are now, this is where we want to be. I can credit him for that side of things and the fact that, yes, that's what DC Comics needed. Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse and all that kind of stuff, it was stupid. Like, Zack Snyder just did not have the stuff to do what they wanted within these movies. And his stupid, dark, depressing, devoid of color movies just, I'm sorry, like, I know everybody, there's a bunch of Snyder stans still out there that are still obsessed with his vision. We still get the hashtags of bring back the Snyderverse and all that kind of crap. No. Man of Steel sucked. Batman vs. Superman sucked. Justice League sucked. All his stuff has sucked. It brought us freaking, if nothing else, it brought us Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. Like, really? Like, no, those movies sucked. I have full confidence in James Gunn in writing the ship. Haven't seen Black Adam yet, hoping to do that this weekend so I can give my thoughts on that. We all know it's no spoilers. I mean, I think Dwayne Johnson spoiled it on his own social media that the end credit scene of Black Adam has Superman, Henry Cavill, coming back as Superman. He shows up in the suit, says like Waller like threatens Black Adam basically, and he's like, you know, send whoever, send them all. And then Superman comes out of smoke or something, and says it's been a long time since someone made the Earth this nervous or something like that. And then Black Adam smiles and cuts to black. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen that scene spoiled on YouTube. So like, we all know he's in the movie. We all know that it was reported that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, basically was really pushing to get this cameo into the movie, to bring Cavill back into the fold, to set up where you're going to have Shazam or Black Adam facing Superman and also Black Adam facing Shazam at some point, that the old regime was kind of putting the kibosh on it because the one article I read said they were really wanting to do this Calvin Elseworlds Superman, where you have a black Superman who's also president and Superman. I would be interested in that story, personally. But that's what they wanted to do. The old regime is out, so now new regime is in. They can do things differently, and one of the things they want to do is bring back Henry Cavill to play Superman. I'm curious to see what he can do, because I always thought that Cavill was a great Superman. Now, make no mistake, I think the Zack Snyder movies suck. I think they suck, period. But Henry Cavill was a great Superman. He was a great Superman stuck in a terrible Superman movie. It's basically the same thing as Brandon Routh back in the day with Superman Returns. A great, great Superman just stuck in a terrible, terrible Superman movie. Cavill's been quoted as saying he's looking forward to playing an enormously joyful Superman. So, if that's not just an indictment on just the unnecessarily dark and gloomy and emo, sort of crap that Zack Snyder was spitting out there, I don't know what is. The dude is like sitting there playing his day saying, like, I'm looking forward to playing this version of Superman because this version of Superman I played over here in these movies was stupid and it sucked and I hated it. That's not him verbatim, but I'm reading between the lines and judging by my experience of watching those stupid movies. So, again, I'm curious to kind of see how things go moving forth. It's a good day for DC and Warner and the movies going forward for the DCU, hoping that through James Gunn, and apparently he's developing an unknown top secret DC project that I think that's supposed to be a movie. Kind of curious to who it is. I'm hoping that even though we're going to get Superman back in the fold, we're going to get a Superman movie eventually. That's been kind of greenlit, and so we're going to get the Superman movie. That's fine. But remember, there are so many other characters like Batgirl that kneecapped. Blue Beetle supposedly still has the support of Zaslav and the new DC Comics, their Warner brass to have an actual theatrical release. We'll see if that actually happens. But there are other characters. Can we see a proper, Titans movie on the big screen once the show that, bites it after hopefully this season because it sucked. And just the wealth of other characters, Icon and Rocket. I mean, we're on a diversity kick, diversity push. You have like some of these milestone characters, Static. I mean, there are other characters in the library of DC Comics. We don't have to go back to the well that is Superman and Batman all the flipping time. So I'm really hoping through James Gunn that they can see that they can trust in him to do what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Take, in terms of like the mainstream, like Z-list characters and make, near billion-dollar movies out of them. So hopefully they trust him with those kind of non-mainstream, non-Justice League sort of characters and do something good, with them. They're there, just use them. Let's not go back to the same well over and over and over and over again. So it remains to be seen how it's going forward. And I've also seen a report where they've kind of are retooling the whole Green Lantern, because apparently there was going to be a Green Lantern series. It was going to be on HBO Max, but now they've kind of scuttled that. Alan Scott was going to be in it. Guy Gardner was going to be in it. It was going to be like a Green Lantern Corps type of thing, which I was actually curious to kind of see how that was going to go down. They actually cast actors, I believe, for Alan Scott and for Guy Gardner, but they basically let them go about their way because they're retooling it and they're bringing it back to Jon Stewart, which I'm anxious to see because I'm a Jon Stewart fan. I know it's a generation of people are probably more familiar with Jon Stewart than they are Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner based on the JLU cartoon. So I'm sure there's a lot of other fans. I know we had the Jon Stewart-led Green Lantern animated movie because I like Jon Stewart. I like Aldous Hodge, who provides the voice of Jon Stewart and who also is Hawkman in Black Adam. But I'm wondering if the retooling of the Green Lantern series has anything to do with James Gunn and kind of what he wants to do, maybe getting his tendrils into things a little bit early, although he's got the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which looks hilarious from the trailer, and he's got Volume 3 that's coming out. So Kevin Feige commented on the move for James Gunn, kind of praising him for it, but also kind of put down that his schedule is going to be kind of locked up from here till May with Marvel stuff, and then he waves goodbye to the MCU and then jumps to the DCEU. I'm sure he'll be having phone calls and conversations here and there, kind of getting a jump start on what he's going to do for DC when the time comes. But it remains to be seen how it all plays out. It's cool. I'm cool with it. I'm optimistic for it. Again, I'm a huge fan of James Gunn and what he did for Marvel and the MCU and just what he did in his past as a filmmaker. And I'm curious to kind of see what he does for DC going forth, because now we have a unified vision and scope from a filmmaker that I believe can handle it, unlike Zack Snyder. So, remains to be seen how it all plays out. I'm here for it. But those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. But you guys out there think, let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. Until next time, let us geek.